Gentleman from Florida.
Speaker, I would this time yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Paul.
Gentleman's recognized for 3 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection.
And I thank the gentleman for yielding. I rise as a member of the International Relations Committee, but I would like to express my disappointment that of my amendments that were offered to the Rules Committee, none of them were approved. So that was a great disappointment to me. I will vote for the rule, recognizing the fact that it is hard to accommodate everyone, but nevertheless, it is very clear that I have been an outspoken opponent of the United Nations, and the amendments that we will be discussing will really not deal with the essence of whether or not we should be involved as we are. I think we're tinkering on the edges and will not do much to improve the bill, even if some of the amendments get passed, which I will support. But I do think there's some serious things that we must consider. One is the issue of national sovereignty. To support H.R. 1646, you have to give up some of our national sovereignty to the United Nations. There's $844 million for peacekeeping missions. We know now that we live in an age when we go to war, not by declaration of the U.S. Congress, but we go to war under UN resolutions. When we vote for this bill, and if you support this bill, you support that concept of giving up our sovereignty and going to war under UN resolutions. I would have liked to struck all the money for population control. I will support the Mexican City language, but it really doesn't do that much. All funds are fungible, and if we provide hundreds of millions of dollars for population control and say, please don't use it for abortion, you just shift the funds around. So there is no real attack on the use of American taxpayers' money for abortion if we don't strike all these funds. The United Nations have already laid plans for an international tax. This January it was proposed. They would like to put a tax on all currency transactions to raise $1.5 billion. This is abhorrent. This should be abhorrent to all of us. It should be abhorrent to all Americans that we would have an international tax imposed by the United Nations. Already the United Nations is involved in tax collecting. In Bosnia right now, in Serbia, the UN, one of their functions is to collect taxes on goods coming into the country. There was a demonstration not too long ago by the Serbs objecting to this. The idea that UN soldiers paid by American taxpayers, they're now tax collectors in Bosnia, should arouse our concern. The only way, since we do not have the amendments to reject some of this funding, the only way we who believe that our sovereignty is being challenged is to reject 1646. I see no other way to address this subject because it is not in our best interest to go along with this. The way the bill is written right now, we will support the Kyoto Treaty. And the International Criminal Court is also something that we should be contending with.
Gentleman from Ohio.